So I just want to say welcome to everybody who's watching this interview. So thank you very much for joining us. This is part of a series that LSC are putting together, which is about unlocking the lockdown. How do we move forward in this lockdown period of COVID-19? Today, I'm able to speak to one of our wonderful LSC coaches, Louise Penrice. So Louise, hello. I love speaking to you, Louise. You're a brilliant coach. And tell us, first of all, how has COVID-19 affected you and your coaching? Has it affected you in your coaching?
Well, obviously on one level, it's limited my movement, but in terms of actually coaching, I work almost exclusively online with different schools and leaders within schools. And so I've been very much able to continue to do that, even though we've had the lockdown. I really enjoy working online in that it enables you to be really focused. You set a clear time where you can connect, and there are often less distractions when you're online than when you're actually in the office and somebody could pop in or just disturb you. So it creates a really nice space in which to be able to connect.
And I find in my coaching too that it's very flexible, so it can work around the needs of school leaders. Are you discovering that's something which people are appreciating more at the moment?
Yes, definitely. And that I'm sure that for many school leaders, it must feel as though you're spinning an awful lot of plates. And so it does give us the flexibility to put time slots in the calendar when it suits you. So that, yeah, we can be very flexible on that front.
And what's your approach to coaching? Because every coach has their own distinctive way of coaching. How do you coach school leaders, and how do you know that they're benefiting from that?
Well, I think it's very important as you connect for the first time to have a really good conversation about what it is that somebody wants to take away from that coaching, and almost design an alliance as you go into the relationship. So that you know, set expectations and really are clear where you want to go with the coaching process. But it is a very creative process, and so as people as leaders come to the different sessions, they'll quite often have a topic that they're dealing with currently at the moment. So it's almost like a dance in a way. You're coaching the whole person. I'm very aware that you can work through certain models like the GROW model without creating lasting change. So it's about connecting, deeply with the whole person, with the kind of context and the problems that are arising out of that. And creating some light structures and frameworks to open up perspectives so that people can see things in a different way.
And you use a number of different tools as well, don't you, to help people on their journey in terms of helping them understand where they're coming from. Some of them go quite deep, don't they, some of those?
Yes, so I mean, quite often as people come into the coaching process, they can do an assessment. So they could do something like the leadership circle profile, which looks at creative competencies, leadership competencies, but also looks at those things that hold you back, because we all have things that hold us back. And that's a very useful 360 assessment that gives feedback that we can use as a basis for coaching. There's also the PPA that many schools use. So there's a personality profile that it's really useful to give you an idea of how your preferred style in working through situations. And it can be helpful too to understand how other team members or how your other team members, how their profiles look, in order to be able to really think about different approaches for working with other team members. But I draw on a variety of different tools, some of them leadership tools, Goldman, some of them influencing or decision-making skills, depending on the situation and what the context is.
And why now? Why is this more important now, would you say, than to help people get out of where they are and what they're dealing with at the moment?
Yeah, well, I think people are facing a huge amount of uncertainty at the moment. It's a very difficult situation for many people in schools. They may have the best laid plans, and within 2 or 3 days, having invested 2 or 3 days, those are thrown out of the window, and they have to rethink again what is needed. So it can be very helpful actually to have somebody outside the organisation as a sounding board, as somebody who can sort of challenge them to think a little bit more deeply, and to open up perspectives as to how best to deal with those challenging situations. In that quite often, as we know, there isn't one right way, but actually really thinking through the consequences and the impact of different scenarios can be really helpful. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like all the LSC coaches, you've been a school leader, and you're also, well, you're based in Hong Kong, but like all the LSC school coaches, we deal with people across the world. So we've seen people at different stages of this process. To what extent do you bring that experience in, your understanding of that, in to support people who are maybe at an earlier stage of the schools just going into lockdown at the moment?
Yeah, it's a delicate balance in that every single person is different, and every single person has slightly different needs that they want to take from the coaching. And you know, sometimes I can tap into that experience and ask if that input is welcome or not. I think that there's a natural empathy in terms of an understanding about how school works, which is very helpful. And yeah, just a shared language, in that there doesn't need to be an explanation about certain situations or scenarios. That can be helpful. But at the end of the day, the coaching process is very much owned by the client, by the leader. And so, yeah, it's a sort of dozy-do as to how much they want to tap into that experience and how much they want to, build a firm basis of their own.
And how you've designed, haven't you, a small series of interactive group coaching sessions to help people. And I know that you're going to run one of those as a taster at some point. Can you just tell us about this? Because this is specifically designed for this period in time. And it's also something that's a little bit, well, not necessarily unusual, but it's a bit different. It help people get an understanding of coaching, but not in the intensive one-to-one that you might normally do. Can you just talk us through that a little bit?
Well, I mean, coaching is very much about developing listening skills and asking powerful questions. So I've put together a series of 3 sessions around unlocking the lockdown. The sessions are going to be online, and they're going to be interactive. And through a process of asking powerful questions and giving the opportunity to go into breakout groups to kind of take those a step deeper and explore those, then we can actually recreate that coaching process online, so that people can have a real experience of what it is to be coached and to see the benefits.
Great. So we'll have details about that, and by contacting LSC, people will be able to gain access to that. We've almost run out of time, Louise, almost. I just wonder, is there anything that you would say to leaders at the moment about why invest in coaching, why go for coaching just at the moment, particularly at the moment?
Well, I think that there is something specifically at the moment with COVID-19 about being able to be nimble and to be able to work in a situation that is judgment-free. So by actually having a sounding board, somebody to talk through ideas, it enables you to really kind of deepen your understanding of a situation quite quickly, in order that you can actually feel more empowered afterwards to go off and act and have those courageous conversations that you need to be having at the moment.
Great. So school boards, take note. Coaching makes for better leaders all round. And that's actually what we need to be doing in order to support our leaders, particularly at the moment. Louise, thank you very, very much indeed. As ever, I love talking with you. And we will speak again soon, I have no doubt. Thank you.